It's late. It just went live.
Okay, that is Lisa Weisen.
Okay.
You trying to get in on that?
All right. We are live. I apologize for the momentary delay, but we're live here at the Experience Pros member training. Very nice to have you guys with us today. And we want to start by saying thank you for your membership. We are grateful for each and every one of you.
And welcome, welcome. So this is we'll do a quick little just member orientation for those new members. And of course, all of the videos, all of the trainings that we've done are on our YouTube channel. So if you want to talk about how to upload and optimize your directory listing, how to get your interview request in, we've done lots of fun little things for you. So go ahead and check out the history there as well.
Absolutely. So this particular training is called Marketing the KISS way, and it's probably not what you're thinking. The KISS method is not so much keep it simple, stupid, or whatever you've heard, but for us it is kindness is so simple. And when it comes to marketing, you can actually get a tremendous amount of value if you exercise kindness on the front side of pretty much everything that you do. So thinking about what this means to us and how we execute it here on the show, you know, we have Fan Braggin Friday, right? And Fan Braggin Friday is designed to pay it forward, if you will, to execute kindness first before asking for anything. And I think that it's one of those things that really has helped our business grow. It defines our culture here at Experience Pros. But the notion of Fan Braggin Friday is simple. You say something nice about somebody else in business, and then we make the assumption when you call it in on a Friday on the radio show, that number is 855-FAN-BRAG, 855-326-2724. When you call it in on the radio show, it gives you an opportunity to tell the entire listening audience, and there are tens of thousands of people in our listening audience, who's getting it right? Who's doing a good job? We believe that a rising tide lifts all ships. We believe that that is something that you can exercise yourself. You can actually help small business on a large scale by simply saying something nice. And then when you do that, we make the assumption that if you recognize extreme customer service, you probably offer it as well.
All right, so we all know about know, like, and trust, right, when we're doing business. And we've all learned that it's old school, that people do business with people that they know, which means they've heard of you, you're familiar to them, either word of mouth referral, familiar from marketing, people that they like, and people that they trust. But if you take that KLT and instead switch it over to kindness, love, and a trust, you think about the way that the market has changed these days. You know, everybody's trying to be PC, politically correct, and we're offending everybody every time we turn around. And it's so easy to do, and it's so rampant. And so who do we want to do business with? People that are kind, people that are nice to other people, that show respect to people in the community, even if they're different from who you are. They vote differently, they pray differently, whatever. And it doesn't matter if we don't have a single thing in common with anybody. We can still be nice and kind to everybody. And these days, I mean, you're seeing how brands are just getting beat up in the media because one person kind of goes out on a limb and decides to just have a bad day in public. And we can't afford to do that with our brands. And so making sure that kindness is at the forefront, you know, changing that know, like, and trust, that it's kindness that we're putting out there. And that's a part of what Fan Braggin Friday is. And that's a part of, I think, where social media is. This is really where it can take off, right? Because you're out there and you're sharing other people's stuff and you're lifting other people up and you're saying, I see what you're doing and I like what you're part of and I want to be a part of that too, which is the swinging the pendulum the opposite way that it's been, which is do business with me, like me, follow me, you know, help me get to 100 likes and help me do, you know, it's always been me, me, me. And with the economy and the way it's shifting with social media, the way that people are using it and engaging with it, if you don't put that love out there first and you don't show kindness first, you're not going to actually receive the business. And that's where it turns into is whether or not you have a successful company or not. We used to use the analogy of, making a deposit before you can make a withdrawal. If you think about your bank account, if your bank account is, you're always just making withdrawals and you're never putting any money in, you're going to go bankrupt, right? Same with relationships. And so we're going to talk about, when we talk about the kindness is so simple in this KLT model, it's about putting deposits in and making sure that we're putting more deposits into our relationships and the people we want to do business with, whether it's prospects, it's the community, our current clients, that we're putting those deposits in before we're asking for a withdrawal. And so here's what that kind of looks like in sales. Every time we call somebody, are we asking for a sale? Or are we adding more value? Are we sending them, I know last night I sent out a PR query to you, Daryl. I saw it and I thought of you. Now this isn't let me send out an article or something I thought was helpful to you. Now do business with me. Now that I've got your attention, let's see what we can turn that into a transaction. But it's actually just making deposits, sending people articles, sending people stuff of value, liking their stuff on social media, sending referrals to them. How often do we go to a networking event, and what do we walk in with? We walk in with the attitude of what's in it for me.
Right.
Versus if we're in there with kindness, love, and trust, then we're in there saying, how can I help the people in this room? Who can I introduce them to? There's 50 people in this room. Surely every time I talk to somebody, I can say, you know who you need to meet? You know who I'd like to introduce you to? But what do? We go in, get our message out, get our business card in their hand, get their business card in my hand, and next. Now we say the words, I'm here, how can I help you grow your business? I really want to, add value to you. And we say the words, and I think sometimes that's a good place to start because we haven't said those words before. And so we start with the words to create the new change and to create the behavior we're looking for. But now we have to put that into action. And when we talk about relationship marketing and this kindness is so simple, you think, okay, well, it's time consuming, and how quickly until that turns into a sale for me? Well, if you treat it like a hobby and it's just an occasional little thing that you do, of course the results are going to take longer. But if you're saturating the market and you're out there everywhere pouring into and constantly building into people online, in person, on the phone, reaching out to them via email, showing up to their events, looking up what do they have going on, how can I support them? If you are saturating the market with your presence, then the results are going to come quickly.
That's pretty much an overview of the entire training. That's it. I mean, it's not complicated. We tell people it's not rocket science. It's people science. And so do you remember when your mom, probably your mom, maybe your dad, used to teach you about the golden rule? Well, the golden rule still rules, right? You know the golden rule. It's do unto others before they get a chance to do it to you. Oh, wait, that's not it. No,
Where did you go to school?
do unto Orange County, LA. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Now, I want to take a minute to talk about this because I can't tell you how many times we see people get their dander up and they're all kinds of angry. Gosh, nobody's doing business with me. Nobody's calling me. Nobody's giving me the business. And then we ask the question, well, who have you done business with? But nobody's doing business with me. There's a golden rule principle here. You've got to do something that you model what you want done. You do unto others as you would have them do unto you. So if you want people to show up at your events,
you got to show up to their events first.
Right.
Putting change in your pocket, making a deposit before you ask for that withdrawal, being out in the community, helping others, bringing new business. Maybe, you obviously we can't do business with every single person, but we can bring them new business.
Yeah, you want others to be your A team to bring you business, right? To make those referrals. Who are you referring? Are you referring? And are you doing it consistently, or as you said, on a hobby status? I think all of these things make a big difference, and it's across all the patterns of life. It doesn't matter what you're talking about. If you want people to say nice things to you, say nice things to other people. If you want people to complain to you, complain about other people. It's
Well, and
It's common
making sure
sense.
that you're, the words that you're talking also. If you're saying I don't get any business, my business isn't growing, if these are the words that you're feeding into you and to other people around you, that doesn't create the environment to foster brand new business. You want people to say, you want to hear that you're excited, that you're growing, you're expanding, you've got clients, you know what you've got going on, your business is booming. People want to do business with successful people. They don't want to do business with people that are bored and have no clients. Because I'm not sure if I send somebody to you if you're even going to be in business next month. And so we need to put out the words that we're saying are that business is growing and business is booming. Now, you should have a safe place, a consultant, a mentor, somebody that you can actually talk about your business growth, a business coach.
When you have a hard day, you need a safe place.
You need a safe place. And as entrepreneurs, we need a safe place. We
You
need
bet.
somebody that says, you know what, it's going to be okay. These are growing pains. This is part of it. Stay with it. Here's some tips and things like that. But the social media sites and all the people you're networking around, they are not your venting ground.
It's not the place.
No, because you're going to create a bad image for your company. And so in public, you're growing and you're excited. You are not growing and you're not excited. Get a mentor, hire the resources, find a business coach, and make sure that you've got the pieces in place. And there are strategies to get you over that hurdle, whatever that hurdle is. There are strategies. But making sure that you are out there modeling the behavior that you want other people to model. So when we're talking about social media, nobody's liking my pages, nobody's posting on me. What are you doing? Are you linking? Are you following up? Are you commenting? So every day as a business person, you probably have a sales goal, right, or a quota of how many people you want to reach out to or follow up with and connect. And so you're making your sales calls, right? I do 10 sales calls in the morning. I do 10 sales calls in the afternoon. Whatever that number is for you. I knew a guy who made 400 calls a week. That was their business model. It was cold calling, and they were just smiling and dialing all day long. And their goal was 400 phone calls a week, and they had their little metrics figured out. If I make this many phone calls, I'll get this many appointments, and it should turn into X number of sales. So whatever your number is, hopefully it's not 400, and hopefully you're not cold calling because it's a good waste of your time. But what your number is, if that same number, okay, I'm making 10 sales calls. For every 10 sales calls, I'm also going to refer and help 10 other people. And maybe those 10 other things are, I'm sharing something of theirs on Facebook, I'm tweeting about their website, I'm commenting, I'm RSVPing to go to their event, I'm sending them a referral, I'm doing something for 10 people. If you did that every day, wrote out a thank you card, or
That thank you card is where I was going in my head. Boy, that's a huge help. And when you do that, the goodwill that is generated by you doing that will absolutely bring back that business.
it does. And so while you're in that mode of, gimme, 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 I need business, I need sales, be in that exact same number of effort into helping somebody else succeed as well.
Now, if this is not your model today, if this is not the way that you regularly do business, but it kind of resonates with you, we want you to grab onto that resonation, if you will, and we call it a movement. It's a movement in the way, it's a shift in the way people do business with other people, and we do believe that it's revolutionary. We think that if you do this, you will actually see tremendous results. It's not. Again, go back to it's not rocket science. It's people science. If people reciprocate kindness, kindness begets kindness, and so to do just what Angel says. We're not saying throw the baby out with the bathwater. We're not saying you've got to stop your cold calling today. Although if cold calling gives you the cold sweats, you really should read our book, List to Save My Business. It's our story. It's how we grew our business to where it is today. And we do not cold call. We just don't. If there's an allergic reaction that happens when we have to think about making cold calls to strangers. And I guess part of that is because you haven't earned the right to be heard.
Right, you're asking, you think about how a cold call typically goes. It's all withdrawals, right? You don't know me, but in a couple of minutes, I want to build this great rapport, I want to get an appointment, I want to get that deal in, and I want to get in and get out. And people know that. They know you're just there for the transaction. And unless there's something that I absolutely need, and I mean, very rarely does somebody come to my door or call me on the phone that this is exactly the product I was looking for, and just was waiting for somebody to show up on my door. It happens once in a while, which is why cold calling has a success rate of whatever the success rate is, because it's people, and you're selling something hopefully that people need. But far more effective is building that relationship with your existing database, the people you already know and have in your sphere. We call it your friend circle, which is your friends, your relatives, your associates, neighbors, networks, and your customers. Look at your address book, who you send Christmas cards to, the people on your Facebook, the people you're connected to on LinkedIn, in trade associations, your sphere of influence, that people, they've heard of you, they know your name. And so you kind of have that first K of the know, like, and trust. But now we need to give kindness to those people. And you use that existing database, not because that person is necessarily going to be your next client, but it's because of their network and the people that they know.
Right.
And we're building that relationship, and we're putting our brand in front of them. We're building that expertise and that success, and we're maintaining that relationship all year long, so that when they hear somebody needs our product or service, they're going to become our raving fans and our ambassadors, because we've poured into them. They're going to reciprocate and say, oh my gosh, do you know Daryl? He is exactly what you need. You're having trouble with your landing pages. You're having trouble with your content. You're stuck. You need some storming sessions. Of course, you're going to call Daryl, because he's in front of you. He's built that relationship with you. He's connected with you. Somebody's kind of hunched over, and you see them kind of scrunched up in their chair, and they're kind of moving around. They definitely need a massage, and you're going to send them to Weiss and Healthy Bodies. Because Lisa's in front of you and she's connected with you, and so it's not the people in front of you. And I think that's the piece where we get so frustrated, because we go to events and we're connecting with our friends and family and these people, and we think they're going to be the ones that are buying from me next. But really, if we can put our message out there so clearly of who we serve and how we help, and we do that, and we're showing kindness, then they can be our ambassadors, and they're reaching out to their sphere of influence and bringing them into your circle.
And what's the phrase? You attract more bees with honey, right? And I really believe that that's a cultural phenomenon. So, going now to break down some basics in the various social media elements that we use. And I want to thank all the viewers that are watching right now, and those who will be obviously tuning in later as their schedule allows. If you have a question, go right now, if you will, please, and message that question to us on our members page, where you found the link to this training, or you can just message message me on Facebook, or Eric at experiencepros.com. Either way, I'll be able to get that. I'm monitoring this as we are talking live, and if your question comes in before we have to close, I'll address that right away. So we talk about putting the social back in social media, and this is one of those things that we have to say probably at least once a month, to remind people that social media is in fact intended to be social, right? Angel and I did a workshop many years ago called Push versus Pull, and the notion of the push type of marketing, which by the way is still very much out there today and is still very much the first nature, if you will, for many people in marketing. The push marketing is, the television spots that say, buy now, buy now, buy now, or the billboards that you see out there on the street, and it's buy now, buy now. You have no choice but to see it. They come on, and you have to participate in them, or you could just, like many people do, walk away, or change the channel, or close your eyes, look a different direction. But it's a push marketing that says, I am addressing you with my proposition, and I want you to act upon it. There's nothing intrinsically or inherently wrong with a push marketing, because at some point or another, somebody needs to know where that strong call to action comes. We're not knocking push marketing. But 6, 7 years ago, the words Web 2.0 came around, And with that came a whole notion of pull marketing, and it is quickly becoming the trend. And that is, I'm looking for information, I'm looking for a product or a service, and I'm going to search, and it's typically through the internet, I'm going to search for that product or for information about that product by way of instigating my own interest in it. That pull marketing is what social media is all about. You can try to push on social media, and it'll have like the same results that a cold call has, because that's what it is. It's a cold call on your stream, right? But better yet, doing something like letting your customers ask questions, letting your customers find out about your information. They're going to search it out. They're going to see what they want. If they click on the ad, you can still do an ad like on Facebook or Twitter or whatever, but if they see that and then click on it because it was compelling and interesting because Daryl Stern wrote your copy, and they click on it, well, then they're pulling your information. They're saying, I want to know more.
So, Eric kind of hit on something. When we're talking about social media, your social media posts aren't necessarily advertisements, but they can be a link over to your website, which is where you do your advertising or kind of pull them in. Or you can do a Facebook ad for that. And so how do you push versus pull? Because we are so typical. We're going to push our message out. We're going to call people. We're going to send these sales ads, and we're pushing it on them. And so the pull method is where you actually are engaging and you're having conversations, and you're putting out fun memes on getting people to think about your product and why they would do business with you, with links then to go over to your website where they can actually get more information, learn about you, and actually even sign up, order, and do the next step into your sales funnel or your sales process. And using people and making sure that that website, once they get to your website or pick up the phone and call you or reach out to you via email or however they're reaching out to you, that information is there that they're looking for. So is it easy for them to find what they're looking for? Is it easy for them to sign up with you? Do you answer your phone? Do you call people back? I think that's probably the biggest complaint that we get here in the Experience Pros office is that people don't call them back. I tried to reach out and nobody responded. That's a kiss of death for your business.
Absolutely.
And so if you are bad at email, hire somebody to check your email or get good at email. If you are bad at answering messages and getting back to you, hire somebody to answer your phone or get good at it.
Virtual assistants abound.
If you are bad at checking your website and staying up to date on social media, hire somebody to do that or get good at it, because it's just not an option for you to say and to be willy-nilly of I'm just bad at and I never respond to and I don't get back to. That gets back to us, and your customer service score goes down the tubes, and this is a small town we live in.
Too small.
You can't afford to have that be the chatter that, yeah, they don't call back and they're not available and they're too busy and you can't afford that. So we go back to that kindness, love, and trust. And so if you need help with the responding, as inquiries are coming in and getting back to people and scheduling and all of that, then seek out the resources that you need. But don't let that be an excuse.
Yeah, no, that cannot be your legacy. That would be a bad thing. So I picked up doing some things. I was challenged about a month ago to do something with my personal Twitter account, and Angel's got a lot of followers. Experience Pros has a lot of followers. I didn't have any followers really. I had less than 500 followers, and it was because I didn't use it. Right? And many of us have those kinds of things in our world. It might be your Twitter account, it might be your Instagram account, it might be your Pinterest or LinkedIn, right? We've all got those things. Now, please don't misunderstand us. We understand that every day there's a new thing to get involved in and a new thing to sign up for, and there are many, many things. I'm still not hooked up on several of the ones that are available out there. But I took it as my personal mission, and I want to share my story with you, to increase quality followers. You'll find that there are lots of people who will sell you leads and get you all kinds of followers that mean nothing. And it's very interesting when you do a report on how many people have unfollowed you in a LinkedIn setting, because that really shows the quality of the connection that you've got there, right? So had 500 or so.
Unfollow you on LinkedIn?
On LinkedIn, well, not LinkedIn. I'm talking Twitter. Did I say LinkedIn? Well, I don't know. They could probably just connect with you on LinkedIn as well. I would sure.
But
How rude. But it happens, right? If you opt in fact, gosh, it was a guy that wrote a book on connections in LinkedIn years and years ago. I'm trying to remember the name of the guy in the book, but his comment was, if you make a connection, make a connection. Don't just make a connection and never talk to me. Say hello. Introduce yourself. How can I help? What can I do? Add value. And then we go back to that kindness, love, and trust, right? If you're going to pay it forward, if you're going to do marketing on the KISS method, then you want to make sure that if you see something that you agree with, like it, share it. And that's exactly what I've been doing on Twitter. I have been looking for articles that interest me. And because it's my personal account, I found a couple of food articles. That's what I do. I like food articles. I like beautiful photography. I think that's pretty cool. So I'll like and share some of those. And then, of course, all things small business. And so I have gone from in the last 3.5, I think 4 weeks now. I've gone from less than 500 to just crossed over 1,300 Twitter followers. And in many of those cases, you get the automatic repeaters that come back and say, thanks for following me now, sign up for my ebook or whatever. I usually don't participate in those, but what I do participate in is when it appears to be an authentic, thank you for following me, I've enjoyed reading your tweets, I'll engage in that conversation, and I'll go back and forth a couple of times. I've even invited a couple of folks to be on the radio show because I like what they're doing. I like what they're putting out there. It's not rocket science, right? It's not complicated. When somebody likes me, and they follow me because I've put out some posts and I retweet a lot of posts. And the cool thing about retweeting is I don't have to create the content, right? I just hit retweet because I like it, and that gives a boost to them. They love that. They like me, and when they like me, then I go back and like them, and it's a reciprocating, always upward building process. I think that's the secret, that you share the things that you like, right? Share the things that you agree with. You can even share things that you don't agree with, or if you don't necessarily have a dog in the fight, throw out a question. What do you think about this? Right? And that simple little thing has generated me some serious business. Now, I told Angel that I was doing this last week, and she says, that's great, you should do it for Experience Pros. And so I've done that, and we're up 200 in the last 7 days.
Well, I think, when we first started using social media, and, you'd get a like, it was somebody you knew, you would engage with them, right? Hey, good to see you here, I didn't know you were using the tool, and you had a conversation with them because they were people that you knew. As your business grows, we tend to go into just adding people mode, right? People, you follow them, they follow you, and it just moves on. It was really when we reconnected with Daryl Stern over a year ago, when he helped us with our Experience Pros Twitter page, our Twitter account, and he would have that conversation with the people and tweet back and have this, hey, I like you, I like your stuff, and actually engage and talk with. And again, not revolutionary to go, oh my gosh, that was so hard, but why are we not doing that? But this whole today's lesson is talking about how are we engaging with other people. And we want people to engage with us, but we've got to be the ones that are engaging with other people. Whether that's on Twitter, whether that's on Instagram, whatever tool you use it. You don't have to use them all, but pick a couple and just make sure that you're present and you're actually using the tool, that your brand is represented in a way that shows I want to build relationships with people.
Absolutely. And so let's cross over from the social side of the networking, if you will, from social media to the face-to-face side of networking. Angel did a great job talking about when you're at a networking event. Well, what comes next in that? Once you've established that you've got a connection with somebody and there is a reason for exchanging business cards, the old adage, the purpose of a meeting is to set another meeting, right? Have you set a one-on-one with the people that are interesting to you? Do you want to engage in discovering more value from them so that you now have more information wherewith you can actually make more referrals? That, again, how you're helping them being the goal. People will do business with the people that they know, like, and trust. You just got to build that relationship. So in your one-on-ones, are you just waiting for an opportunity to say, okay, now that you're done, boom, here's my plan, and this is what I do, and so on. I saw somebody post a very interesting question on Facebook, and it was so innocently posted. Tell me about your purchasing habits, and and I'm just curious. I just want to know about your purchasing habits in a certain area, and what seemed very superficial, and I'm just interested in posting a random question. This, by the way, a question that's never been asked by this particular person before. Well, it just so happens that they're in a business that satisfies the itch. She's fishing. She's fishing for you to say, I either do this or I don't do this. And if you do this, well, I've got a live one. And I do this. It's not as genuine as I think people can be. I think we like the KISS method better. Paying it forward. How can I help you? Who can I bring to you? It's very complicated to not reciprocate when somebody bestows kindness upon kindness upon kindness on you.
But I think we just don't want to be icky, right? You don't want to be the person that's the bait and switch. If you're, we're going to catch on if you are using a tactic, and the first time it might work, you might get that, but we won't fall for that again. And I think that's the thing is it something people are going to fall for? How are they going to feel when they kind of get roped into that kind of scenario? Not at all the kind of brand you want to represent, and not the kind of way you need to get a client. There are much nicer, kinder ways to bring on new clients and to start that conversation. And so being authentic and open in the first place. When we talk about one-on-ones, we started a thing several years ago. And we haven't done it in a long time, but we were doing coffee meetings all the time, these one-on-one coffee meetings, right? It gets to be very time-consuming. And as an entrepreneur, you've only got so much time. We can't just be running all over town having, 20 coffee meetings every single week. But we need to meet more people, right? We need to saturate the market. We need to build these relationships and build into people. We also don't want to get stuck in a coffee meeting where somebody's going to turn it into a sales pitch on us because, they've got our undivided attention. And so one of the ways that we found to just kind of be brilliant in avoiding being sales pitched in a get-to-know-you coffee meeting, and to just be better, have better management of our time. Do you remember the old-fashioned dinner parties where people would have a dinner party and they'd invite 8 to 10 people to a dinner party,
Sure.
right? And, eclectic group of people, fascinating, great evening of conversation and building relationships over dinner and super fun, but who's got time to cook dinner? Who's got time to host a dinner party and all that that entails? So taking the idea of the old-fashioned dinner party, I call it old-fashioned. I can't remember last time I had a dinner party.
Right.
But Mom and Dad, and Grandma used to do that all the time. But take the idea of the dinner party and the idea of the coffees that you're doing, the one-on-one, and put them together. Somebody says, hey, Daryl, can we get to coffee, have coffee next week? And you're like, sure. How about Tuesday at 2? Great. Put it on the calendar. Somebody else comes up to you, hey, Daryl, can we have coffee next week? You know what? I'm already having coffee with Angel on Tuesday at 2. Why don't you join us? Next person, hey, Daryl, can we have coffee? I'm having coffee with Angel and Joe on Tuesday at 2. Why don't you join us?
This deserves a catchy name.
It wasn't very catcy when we came up with it, but we called it the non-dinner dinner party.
There you go.
Did you ever watch what was the one where the guy always had his Face Over the Fence, the TV show, the sitcom,
Oh.
the Tool Man.
Timber Toolman Taylor.
Yeah, whatever that TV show was.
Yeah.
Tool Time. Thank you. No, that was his TV show.
That was his TV show.
Anyways, the
Home
sitcom.
Improvement.
Home Improvement. So Home Improvement, one of the episodes, the wife of Tim the Toolman, she was on a fundraising committee, and she's like, nobody ever wants to come to the dinner, right? Nobody, has got time to come to the dinner. So we're not having the dinner, but you can still pay the $50 or whatever per plate. And she thought it was brilliant. You don't have to come, you just pay the $50.
What a great business model.
And people were so confused. No, it's not dinner. No, you don't. No, it's not chicken or beef. You're not getting dinner. It's just what I thought it was a dinner. Well, it's not really a dinner. It was so confusing. That's kind of how this turns into the non-dinner dinner party. But you actually are getting together, and you put 5 or 6 people in a coffee shop together. The buzz and the energy, and people who would have not normally gotten to meet each other or been introduced are now engaging and interacting. You can come up with an icebreaker question that kind of includes the whole table meeting and greeting together. People get to know each other. You only have to tell your story once. 6 people hear it.
Here's the brilliance of it, though. You unwittingly, I guess wittingly, disarm anybody who came for the coffee meeting with the intention to lay out their sales pitch to you. Because now it's uncomfortable to do that for the entire group.
If somebody's coming and to sales pitch you, that should be clear in the agenda. We're getting together because you're interested in my product and service, and I'm going to give you more information about my product and service. But if you say, I want to get to know you, or let's get together, let's see how we can help each other out, all those catchy phrases, when you're just to get them to the appointment, and then you bring your sales manager and you bring your whole presentation, not kosher. That is not kosher. We don't do that. It's not tricky. And I think that's one of the biggest things that we want to emphasize to all of our members. You don't have to be sneaky. You don't have to be tricky. Somebody wants your product. Somebody wants your service. What you offer is phenomenal, and somebody right now wants what you're selling. So don't be sneaky about it. Don't do a bait and switch. Don't trick them into anything, because you might get that sale, but the word on the street is, yeah, be careful of that one.
Yeah,
you don't want that reputation.
It is the word on the street that you have to beware of. All right, and then finally I want to touch on a couple of things that are, low cost, no cost opportunities for you that will absolutely help your marketing, and you can implement them today. So let's talk about your email signature. You are the queen of the email signature.
Actually, I've gotten a little overboard on my email signature these days. I need to tone it down. But your email signature is a great place to put a PS and oh, by the way. And the PS, oh, by the way, is not I grow by referrals.
Right. It's not a sales pitch.
It is not a sales pitch, but something fun and engaging. Here's 5 tips to help you improve your day, and it sends them to a landing page on your website, or something fun that you've got going on. Again, that pull method, they're getting the email, and they can pull some more information, head on over to your website, your landing page, your Pinterest, your Instagram, whatever it is that you want to talk about.
Did you know that statistics say that the PS is the first thing that people read?
It is, which is why all real estate agents always say, P.S. I grow by referrals. No kidding.
Show me somebody who doesn't.
Right? All of us grow by referrals. We get it.
That's never activated somebody to go, I must refer right now.
Oh, my gosh. Yes, they grow by referrals. I must send them people. But remember, we talked about, in all those sales calls that you're making, you're also sending referrals to people as well, and helping people grow. So make the PS something valuable, and use your email signature to extend your brand. Also, your voicemail. Your voicemail typically would say, hey, you called me, I'm not at my desk. No kidding. I got your voicemail.
Yeah.
Let's disrupt complacency. Let's take them out of voicemail coma and actually say something fun that actually engages your brand. We use the example of the caterer. Do you smell that aroma? Do you hear that sizzle? I'm in the kitchen cooking lunch for somebody. Leave your name and number. I'll cook lunch for you tomorrow. Your brand, because who calls you? It's your friends and relatives, right? They don't know what you do. They're the best ambassador for you, and you just kind of remind them, oh, that's right. They have a company that I could be sending people to.
Since this is going out on the internet, I'm not going to give the phone numbers, but you might want to call Elisa Connor over at Ripple Effect Marketing, or Kimberly Orr at Knockout Performance. You can find their numbers on the Extreme Customer Service Directory. They may answer, and if they do, just say, hang up, I want to hear your voicemail, because they're getting it.
They get it. Use it as something fun. anything that your customers are seeing, engage them in branding and that pull marketing and get them, just entice them. Give them something of interest, something a little juicy that they want to sink their teeth into, not sales pitch.
Yeah, and we'll wrap up this conversation. I continue to check for anyone who has any questions. And so let me take a quick peek over here and see what's going on. All right.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so someone asks, I want to remain anonymous, but what I don't like is when people post on my timeline about their events without getting my permission. Boy, I understand that completely. And we want to encourage you to gently let people know that, and usually it's something that doesn't normally happen, but once, if you take a moment to write in and say, hey, look, please, if it's all right with you, just ask if you can post your event on my timeline beforehand.
Here's the thing, though. People are gonna, and it's, there are those people there that push method, right? Of course you don't like it. They're pushing their thing on you. They haven't earned trust. They haven't created that deposit before they're making a withdrawal. So this is exactly what we're talking about. That's a perfect example. So don't do that on other people's pages. People are going to do it on yours. People do it on ours all the time. It used to be, we would take the time and try to address it or comment on it. These days, you know what? If you ignore it, probably most of your friends and your fans will ignore it too. If you don't endorse it, they know that it wasn't solicited, that they didn't have permission. It comes across. The people seeing it, they can tell that person didn't have permission. They're spamming kind of on your social media page. If it gets out of hand, you do have the authority to delete that kind of stuff. And most of the time they don't even know it because they're not coming back and checking anyway.
No, it's just it's a hit and run.
Yeah.
So that is it's a great question. Thank you for it. And again, we have our Facebook page. We've got obviously the members group that you're a part of, but we also have our Facebook page, which is open to the public. And
we encourage all of our members to post their stuff there and engage with us there.
And even sometimes the public does as well. And just the same kind of a thing, unsolicited marketing for their business or whatever. We rarely delete those. We just let them go because it's a public venue.
So you guys know, though, as a member of the Experience Pros Network, we have a Facebook group that is just for members. This is where you guys can share your stuff with each other, engage with each other, talk to each other. Let us know what you've got going on in your world. You've got a seminar coming up, you've got a workshop, you've got anything going on, a sale, a promotion. You can use the Facebook group to talk to each other. But again, making sure that you're sharing, not just in there posting, hey, come to my thing, but that you're actually engaging and interacting when other people share that too. Absolutely,
absolutely. Angel mentioned memes just a bit ago, and I want to wrap this thing up with an encouragement because, the more visual Facebook gets, and it's getting more and more visual, memes go a long way. And I have to tip my hat to my business partner who has taken on the cause of making memes, and she does a phenomenal job because I see the kindness in the memes that we post out. The simple little encouragements that somewhere, right now, someone is looking for your service or your product. I'm trying to think of some other ones that I've seen. I posted one that says, in the shape of a heart, it says, we love small business. We heart small business, over and over and over again in the shape of a heart. That kind of stuff goes a real long way, and people will stop and look and engage in that kind of a thing. And again, that kindness is so simple. Paying it forward, the kindness, love, and trust. There's a new KLT in town, and I think that really goes a very, very long way. Check one more time, a quick check of the page to see if there are any other questions that may need to be addressed. I don't see any. One quick refresh. If not, we're going to go ahead and get on about the business of Fan Braggin' Friday, which, by the way, is another terrific way to exercise that kindness, love, and trust. Call us in a couple of minutes when the show starts from 10 to noon. Make it a scheduled event on your cell phone so that when Friday comes around and 9:56 a.m. hits, you dial in 855-FAN-BRAG, get on the show, and let's raise awareness for small business about talking about who's getting it right. And you'll be surprised. I am no longer surprised. I'm just thrilled to hear the reports every single week when somebody comes in and says, all I did was call in to talk about business ABC, and my phone rang because you gave me the opportunity to talk about my business as well. It happens every week.
Kindness is so simple. Make it a part of your business plan to use Braggin Friday. Historically, those companies that brag on a regular basis, even weekly, see record years, banner years. Their businesses explode. Coincidence? I don't think so. Make sure that you're saying something nice, you're paying it forward and lifting other people up every single week. Your business will take off. We offer that to you as a member of the Experience Pros group. You get it. You get the culture. Use it to connect with somebody it's been a long time since you've connected with. You've had a sales call grow cold and you don't know how to get back in touch with them. Tell them you're going to brag about them. Got somebody you want as a power partner or a great vendor? Tell them you're going to brag about them. Put that deposit in. It's a huge deposit.
It really is. Make sure that you are checking your email. You should be getting emails from Experience Pros. They do look like newsletters. They are less newsletter than they are more information about the various services, elements, and whatnot in your membership. And to that end, please check out the new the new page on the Experience Pros website, experiencepros.com. has a new page under the Members tab. There's a Member Information Center, and that Member Information Center has all the upcoming events and things that you probably want to be aware of, including how to order your Experience Pros membership name tag. It's free. Why wouldn't you, right? How to order your, what do you call those, counter displays. We have counter displays that can be posted in your brick and mortar, if you've got a brick and mortar, or in your lobby if you've got an office building, any of those kinds of things. And they have tear-off pads if you're interested in full color advertising on the backside of the tear-off pads. The front of it says, you know, consider the Extreme Customer Service Directory and all of that. But if the backside you want it to be yours, it's only $25 for a pad of 50 of those. It's a huge opportunity for you. If you don't want that, if you don't want to pay the $25, the display is free.
So we did. We created the member info page for you, so we don't have to send you so many emails, and I know they were getting pretty long.
Yep.
Again, it's that push versus pull. When you want the information, we'll make sure that we've got it on the website for you.
You bet. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being our members. We love you. We really do. Keep your eyes posted to the members page and to the Facebook page. We're going to be celebrating a whole bunch of new members coming up soon. Thank you again.